What's up, state of state? What's up, what's up, what's up? So, like Aaron was just saying, my name is David Gaines. I'm a junior here. I'm a spoken word artist. And for those of you who don't know, spoken word is more like, it's poetry, but it's more performance poetry. It focuses more on the theatrical elements of reciting a poem versus just reading it off a page. And so I'm actually co-leader of Penn State Words, and so we do this thing, and I want to invite you to do it, where I say what you got, and y'all say words. It sort of helps you give me the energy so I can push it right back to you. So what you got? Word. Okay, what you got? Word. All right, now this time we got to be loud enough to wake those hungover students all the way down in the South, okay? What you got? Word. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So I want to sort of let you into my life a little bit before I recite this poem. It's called Strangers, Dangers, and Kin. I grew up in a family full of pastors. Okay, now every family, or a lot of families, have a trade. Some, it's a bunch of lawyers. Some, everyone's a doctor. Some are artists. Some, everyone's selling drugs. You know, whatever it is. Whatever it is, my family, our trade was this church in South Philadelphia, 25th and Wharton. And needless to say, that I got a lot of little mini sermons growing up. My dad would take every opportunity he could to teach me as much as possible. From forgetting to take out the trash to landing in detention too many times, I would get a sermon about it. And the problem with my dad's sermons is he uses these really abstract metaphors that make sense to him but don't really translate when he says it to other people. So just to give you an example, one day I called him up, right? I was having girl problems. And I called him. I was like, Dad, you know, I don't think she respects me as a man, you know. I feel like, you know, your woman's supposed to treat you a certain type of way, and she ain't doing it like that, Dad. Like, what should I do? And he was like, you know what, son, I'm glad you called me. When life gives you lemons, you got to squeeze them. Do you got enough gas to make it to the beach? You can't make it to the beach without enough gas, son. You got to fill her up. Fill her up, son. Now you go out there and get her. And I was like, Dad, are we, what? Am I the lemonade? Am I the gas, or is she the car? Where's the beach at, Dad? And so I can name 1,000 different examples of situations like that where my dad just confused me while I was opening my heart up to him. But one day, he sat me down and told me about being black in America. Now, I was going through my video game stage, and I still am at times. Shout out to all my gamers out there. And so I was playing Mario, whatever the game was, and he snatched me from it and said, son, you know, you need to know this. You're getting taller. Your voice is getting deeper. You know, you got to know what it's like to be black in America. And so I didn't get it really until I started performing poetry and writing poems, and I reflected on this moment. So I'm going to share this with you right now. It's called Strangers, Dangers, and Kin. And again, if you like anything, can we all snap one time real quick? Okay, don't feel bad if you can't snap. You can still stump your feet and clap or do whatever you got to do. So I hope you enjoy this. My father told me we see the world through a lens, crafted by our culture, our peers, our pain, and our sins. We came up from mulch, and it's been ingrained in our skin to divide the world up into strangers, dangers, and kin. He said, son, sit down. You're getting big. You ain't no kid now. You got to notice and focus on how you appear now. Not everyone's going to see your intentions. I'm telling you, that melanin be playing tricks on perceptions. Your brown skin is beautiful. So take pride in it. Learn to survive with it. You ain't no wild nigga. You come from the best. If that means smiling at white women to show you're not a threat, how you doing? Or handing cops your identification. No, it's blatant. It's only because you black. Don't talk back now. I know. You think you're number one like hydrogen. So be compliant with the periodic stop and frisk. These cops have lists of reasons to take your oxygen with no consequence. But my father said we see the world through a lens, right? Crafted by our culture, our peers, our pain, and our sins. We came up from mulch, and it's been ingrained in our skin to divide the world up into strangers, dangers, and kin. So I said, psh, please. It's 2016. Obama's in office, and things are often better than they seem. I mean, what are the odds that even if a cop gets mad the way I talk, that he'll start reaching and leave me bleeding on the sidewalk? This is not fall of 1894. I am not strange fruit. I just want to hang with my bros and not be told when and where and what I should or can't do. I know I sound like an optimist, but I'm confident that my father said we see the world through a lens, right? Crafted by our culture, our peers, our pain, and our sins. We came up from mulch, and it's been ingrained in our skin to divide the world up into strangers, dangers, and kin, so I dismissed them. because I thought he was being extra until a cop had me alone at night, grilling me with a flashlight, asking me stupid questions like, where's the weed at? Excuse me, what? I mean, I could see the reason for it if my cousin's Mazda stunk, but it didn't. See, I was just sitting in the front trying to pop the trunk, but in his mind, he just got a thug. And that's when it hit me. You know, that's just when I felt the fright, because he could kill me and stand stiffly within his rights, so I just listened and complied. Yo, that was 2 decisions that probably saved my life, but I swear I was so angry because I felt like I kissed his boot. I should have slapped him. And if he shoots me like rock, scissors, and paper, at least I die with the truth. But I realized I couldn't hate him. I realized I couldn't hate that police officer because my father told me we see the world through a lens, crafted by our culture, our peers, our pain, and our sins. We came up from mulch, and it's been ingrained in our skin to divide the world up into strangers, dangers, and kin. Now, I've performed this piece a lot around campus, and I love performing it because there's always a person in the crowd, usually it's a white person, who just has this moment, this epiphany, where they're like, one time I performed it at some open mic downtown, and I sat next to this man after I performed it, and he was just like, yo, I had no idea. I had no idea you had to go through that you had to have those types of conversations, that you have to have those types of experiences, that you have to walk down campus with one headphone off your ear, just in case you hear sirens or just in case you hear police officers. You want to be aware. And so with that, during my short semester as a TA for Social 119, I actually experienced and facilitated dialogues, much like the wonderful facilitators that are here today. I facilitated dialogues with people who had never had a conversation with a black person before, ever. And to me, that was like, whoa, because I'm from Philadelphia, so you know I'm used to that. I'm used to diversity, but they had never experienced someone outside of their own culture. And so that's when it hit me that there is a large problem, and not even just on a national scale, but we can bring it down to just a university like Penn State of ignorance. You've been hearing that a lot. And I think that the reason I'm here before you today, besides to just spit a poem at you, is to talk about the responsibility for you to educate yourselves and be knowledgeable. As college students, you know, we have a tremendous opportunity. I mean, look around you. Just look at the person to your left and your right. Just do it, really. Look at them. Seriously, look at them. We have a bunch of people from different nationalities and backgrounds and ethnicities that you might never see back home. That's a privilege. That is a big privilege. There are people back home in Philadelphia that I know that might not ever go outside the city, or they might not never ever see people that are different from themselves. So we've been afforded a very good opportunity. And in this day and age, 2016, where information is so quick, you know, I'm sure some of you are on Twitter and Facebook right now looking up, you know, sports scores or whatever that is, or finding out about Beyonce's, you know, halftime show performance or whatever that is. Like, in this day and age, it's unacceptable. Ignorance is a choice. It's a conscious choice, so we have to be responsible for our information so that minoritized groups can feel more comfortable and majoritized groups can be more understanding of the situations. And I use those terms because it's an ongoing system and process. These are not minorities. They are being minoritized. There's a very big difference with that. And so with that, I just want to leave you with this. Dr. Jacqueline brought it up, the Tom Jefferson quote about how, you know, in the democracy, ignorance doesn't work in a democracy. And in the same way that Frederick Douglass in his autobiography spoke about how you cannot be free without being knowledgeable. They go hand in hand. And so I just want to encourage you today, talk to people. Go outside your comfort zone. You know, talk to someone who looks different from you, who's from a different background, whether that's, you know, different city, school, sex, you know, gender, what sexual orientation, whatever it is. Go out there and be knowledgeable, and so that we can have less microaggressions and make a more inclusive community. My name is David Gaines. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored. Enjoy the rest of the conference.